So guys, we're back here today. We're going to be talking about why you shouldn't edge on NoFap. Now, just before we get into it, the NoFap course is selling like monkey and banana. No, um, we're we're getting a lot of sales in, and the course works well. So if you want to really actually overcome NoFap and not have to deal with the struggles that I have faced and many other people face. If you want to just essentially fast track the difficulties that you face, getting up, being demotivated, all this stuff. If you want to avoid all of that, then I suggest you go have a look at the course in the description down below. But today I want to talk about why you should stop edging or why you shouldn't edge on NoFap, because the the first few weeks that I was on NoFap, I made a lot of progress. I made it 2 weeks without actually fapping, without actually nutting. I think it was about February last year, but about that time I can't really remember, but it was around then. And I edged for a while, and what I found was, okay, I didn't fap, I didn't masturbate, I didn't release, but I still was touching myself. I was still watching the explicit content, and I didn't want to relapse. It's like, oh, I won't relapse, I won't relapse, I won't relapse, and that's what I do every time. I just touch myself, and then I'd be like, oh no, 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 I can't relapse. No, I'm better than this. Oh, and then I just wouldn't do it. But I did that for months, and the only thing that resulted in was me actually relapsing anyway. I already, you know, would have relapsed because I'd built up so much anticipation for the release. So I ended up releasing anyway, and I made no real progress in those first few months of NoFap because of edging. I made absolutely no progress because by edging you still spike your dopamine. You might know by fapping, you should know by now that when you masturbate, um when you ejaculate, your dopamine goes up once you've touched yourself to whatever kind of shit you're watching. Your dopamine goes up, and once it goes up, it comes all the way back down. So let's say this is baseline, and it goes up above baseline, goes all the way back down below baseline, and then you're just craving to get back up to baseline, to baseline. And this is the problem, because by edging, you still spike your dopamine. And that is a big problem with NoFap, that it spikes your dopamine, it messes your dopamine up. It's one of the main factors that most people give up porn and masturbation and fapping, because of the dopamine spikes, because it's fucking really mentally damaging. So by edging, you're still messing up your dopamine. You're still getting little highs. That's why I was edging, because I wanted those highs. I was post relapse, and I was looking for just a high, a high, a high, because nothing else was fulfilling me. Now maybe for the first few weeks while you're trying to fix your fucked up mind, then maybe edge. But to be honest, if you're gonna really try and overcome masturbation, you may as well just go all in rather than half arson it the whole time. It's like that for everything with your business. You want to go all in. You don't want to just be kind of dipping your toes in the water. Oh, it's too cold. No, just fucking jump in head first and then see where you land. Blue balls was another thing. Blue balls. Apparently, no, I don't know for sure. Take my word on it, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think blue balls is essentially, what I've heard is, when you masturbate but you don't ejaculate, and then your sperm and shit are like, what the fuck? And then, like, I don't know what happens. I think your brain's all fucked up and it thinks you had an orgasm but you didn't, and then you're just kind of like really weird. I don't really know exactly how it works, but I know there is an actual effect it has, and the point is you get addicted to edging because you're still getting that dopamine spike. You're getting pretty much nearly the same dopamine spike as you would if you just masturbated anyway. Now, by all means, if you're having sex, that's a different thing. If you're having sex with a woman and you don't want to release, by all means, or if you want to hold your sperm, there's a way to do that. Now, by all means, you can do that if you're having sex, but if you're masturbating by yourself, if you're jerking off, you know, you shouldn't do any of these tactics because it makes no sense. You know, you're still conditioning yourself to do the bad thing, which is masturbating. So don't edge. Yeah, it's quite obvious. But yeah, blue balls was the thing, and the point is you get addicted to edging, just as you would to releasing, to masturbating, to ejaculating. You get addicted to that, but you get addicted to edging as well, and then you're replacing one bad habit with another. That's not how addicts get over things. You know, you're an addict. You should realize that you're an addict. I was an addict. I'm not anymore. But you have to replace the bad habit with a good habit. So, for example, reading. Got loads of books. 1, 2, 3. 3 books. Now these are all for different things. You know, 1 self-help and 2 are for school. But I'm fucking reading them. That's a good thing to do. Rather than jacking off. You know, I felt an urge. I'd say 15 minutes ago, I felt a strong urge. I thought, yeah, I feel like doing it. I thought, nah. I instead did a bit of reading. Replace the bad habit with a good habit. So don't replace ejaculating. Don't replace ejaculating with edging. It's fucking self-destructive. Just don't do it. And you still, if you edge, you still watch porn. You still watch maybe softcore porn. To be honest, softcore porn, in my opinion, is actually worse because you trick yourself into thinking, oh, I'm not actually looking to jack off right now, and you still jack off. You know, you trick yourself into scrolling for hours, and then you do it. Whereas if you watch porn, hardcore porn, on Pornhub or whatever, you know, you're not tricking yourself. So yeah, but you still watch that kind of content if you edge. So you know, unless you're edging to you know, your mind, which you probably aren't. You're probably watching porn still and edging, you little dick. So by doing that, you're still conditioning your brain. You're still, you know, your brain's still fucked up. Still sexualizing women. You're still, you know, pedestalizing them, and it's a bad thing to condition yourself to do. So by edging, you're still, you know, playing with that fantasy. You're still, you're still, you know, scratching that itch. You're still doing it. So by edging, the only thing you're actually doing is not ejaculating. You're still doing all the other bad stuff. You're just not releasing. Which, yes, okay, it is going to benefit you in some ways, but it's not going to benefit you in any other way because you're still jerking off like a little weirdo in your bedroom or whatever, and you still feel like shit. You know, every time I remember when I was edging, I'd still feel like shit after it. I'd be like, oh, I didn't do it, but I still kind of gave in to temptation. You still feel like shit because you get the dopamine spike and your dopamine still goes back under. It's similar to releasing, but you don't get as bad of a dip. So maybe you're just below baseline. Maybe you're even further below. But either way, you're not gonna be as you're not gonna be as bad as if you actually released your sperm. But the problem is, you're still gonna be locked in. You're still gonna have it on your mind if you edge. I found that if I edged, I'd still be, thinking about having an orgasm, because it's not normal to tease an orgasm. As men, we're supposed to reproduce like fucking crazy. It's normal for us to be fucking all the time. But the thing is, it doesn't mess up your brain as much as if you masturbate. If you masturbate by yourself, you're not getting those lovey-dovey things in your brain. I don't know the scientific shit, but you're not getting all the happy feelings if you're with a woman. Whereas if you're by yourself, you're not getting any of those lovey-dovey shit. So you just feel like shit instead, and you lose all your testosterone and masculinity by jerking off. So it's not normal to masturbate. It's not natural, but it's also not normal to be teasing an orgasm. Like, oh, look at me, oh, I'm edging. It's not normal, and you feel like shit by doing that because you're constantly thinking about it. I found that if I edged or I touched myself at all in a sexual way, then I'd have to really relapse because I've given in. I've surrendered, and now that I've surrendered, I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna make it a habit. So I may as well just fucking do it quickly and then get back to work, rather than edging. Oh, look at me edging. Because there's been so many times where I'd be edging, or I touch myself a little bit, or I tease the orgasm, and then I'd be like, huh, I didn't do it, and then I'd do it the next day. So by teasing yourself, by edging, by doing this, you're gonna end up doing it anyway. You will eventually relapse because it's on your mind. You constantly think about it. The whole point of NoFap is to forget about it. Is to no longer make it second nature, and to just kind of, let's say, unequip it as an item. In a video game, you can unequip your sword or whatever the fuck. You want to unequip fapping, jerking off. So to do that, you need to forget about it. It needs to not be something in your brain. Whereas if you're edging all the time, it's still going to be something you think about. And eventually you're going to, build up the anticipation so much, so you're just going to fucking jerk. You're going to burst the load anyway. So by edging, you're teasing yourself. Ooh, I'm edging. Ooh. And then eventually you're just going to go and fucking ejaculate anyway. So it's completely self-destructive. Is counterproductive by edging, because you're still you're still sexualizing women. You're still thinking about it all the time, making it a habit. You crave. You're still your dopamine's all fucked up still. Feel shit about yourself. You're not thinking properly, and we're gonna do it anyway. Every single time I've edged or touched myself, I've relapsed anyway. I've touched myself in that way. Sometimes maybe I haven't, but like that I didn't really indulge properly. But if I indulge properly and I'm watching the content, and I don't end up doing it at that moment, I'll end up doing it like half an hour later anyway, because I've already given in. I've already let the demons win. So don't let the demons win. Don't edge. If you're gonna edge, you may as well just fucking jerk off anyway, normally. May as well just watch some fucking, crazy, disgusting, fucked up porn, rather than edging. I'm not trying to encourage you, but if you're gonna, edge, you may as well just do it anyway, because it's a waste of time, and you're not gonna actually make progress. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. I feel like it's quite important for you to understand that edging is probably worse than jerking off. They're both terrible, but edging is probably worse. So subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day.